Hello, welcome to Farrell Swim Tech. My name is John Farrell. This is the live stream where I take my 15 plus years of racing experience and 12 years of private coaching experience and help you get faster in the water. So today we are going to be doing a product review. I have the Zoot Hydro X Swimskin, and I am going to review it. I got some time in the water. I got a little bit of footage that I'm going to share with it. So full disclosure, I do not work for Zoot. Zoot does not pay me to did not pay me to do this review. Yes, they sent me out a free swimskin for the review purposes, but they have no say in what I say, per our usual arrangement. This is just my own personal thoughts, feelings. I've gone over it a couple times in the car using myself as an audience. I have a tendency to monologue when I'm driving. I had to drive from LA County down to San Diego, and I had a 3-hour drive back from San Diego to LA County. So I had time to think about this broadcast. Yeah, that's what I do when I go on work trips. Excuse me. So let's talk about the swimskin. Swimskin is not a wetsuit, okay? That is first and foremost what you need to understand. So if you can see here, this is a very, very thin material. I mean, this fabric is nuts. Zoot collaborated with Finis, and it says powered by Finis. So you're probably wondering, who is Finis? Now, I know Finis because of snorkels. I have a Finis snorkel. I've always used a Finis snorkel. So if you look on Finis's website here, what you see is, oh, look at this. Hydro X. Wow, this looks very similar. So if we look at this, this is their high-tier tech suit, okay? So, and you're going to hear me use the term tech suit. I'm going to use that term a lot just because that's what I'm used to hearing. The Hydro X is Finis's top-tier tech suit. Now, what is a tech suit, okay? So, in the world of swimming, a tech suit is another name for high-performance swimwear. This is your competition swimwear. Okay, so like if we're comparing this to like Zoot clothing, okay, the Hydro X line is going to be comparable to the P1 line or the Elite line. And then their next tier down is the Rival 2.0. The Rival 2.0 is going to be kind of like the LTD. And then you're going to have Fuse. So Fuse is going to be like the core, okay? So now you're probably wondering, why do they have so many tiers? Well, you can see these two little guys down here in the Fuse, which is the lowest tier, and then that's also in the 79, it's roughly the $100 range. And then you go all the way up here, you only see adults. You only see adults, and you're in the $400, $600 range. Why is that? Okay. In order to answer this question, we need to, and this is just a general discussion about swimwear, competitive swimwear. Okay. So let's go back in time to the Georgia Olympics. Okay. Georgia Olympics came out, and they came out with Speedo came out with a brand new revolutionary swimwear called the Aquablade. Oh, God darn it. I didn't want to do that. Okay, let's see here. What can I get rid of? We'll get rid of that. So Speedo came out with the Aquablade, and it's pictured here. Okay? The Speedo Aquablade was kind of the de facto or wait, no, I can get rid of that. There you go. Dang it, it did the thing I didn't want it to do. The Speedo Aquablade was debuted back in the Georgia Olympics, and this was the big suit. This is the big new technology reveal by Speedo, and this was the pinnacle of 1996 competitive swimwear. The entire USA Olympic team was in Aquablade. They looked fantastic. They swam super well. So what you see is these stripes, these vertical stripes on the suit. So these had different coatings. I believe there were coatings on them, and then or the fabric was manufactured so the water channeled differently, and this channeling of the water was more drag efficient. So you can see these are absolute bottom of the barrel now in terms of tech. They're still fine swimsuits. I mean, I competed in Aquablades all the way through college, even though they had better technology out there. This is kind of a very standard, a standard youth racing suit. Okay, so we went back to Finnis. You saw the lowest tier. The USA Swimming has actually banned higher tier tech suits from most youth swim meets. So you have to be at a certain tier of swimming in order to, I think it's age. It might be age or a certain time bracket where you are allowed to wear the more expensive suits. And it's only a certain tier of expensive suits. Because basically what happened is the USA Swimming realized there's a bunch of weird parents out there that are going to buy a $600 swimsuit for their 8-year-old child. That's not really that good. So USA Swimming is kind of like, okay, all right, parents, we're doing this for your own good. So they've outlawed most top tier swimsuits at these lower competitions. Okay, so Aquablade was the standard, and then the year 2000 rolled around. And then they came out with the Swimskin, and the Swimskin was my suit of choice. This came out my junior year of high school, and I'm sorry, but I gotta clear my nose again. So this came out my junior year of high school, and so a couple things that you can notice about this suit is, number one, they have these big old seams. They have these huge seams on the suit. Yeah, these things dug into your skin like no other. Now I interviewed the team coordinator from Form a couple years ago. I was trying to interview him last year or this year, but unfortunately our schedules just did not align at all. But the thing is, these suits, when you buy these suits, you're supposed to buy like 2 suit sizes smaller than you're used to. I remember opening my first Swimskin. The thing was only about this long, which was literally like half my leg. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to fit in this thing? You put them on like pantyhose. You just, you're just like shimmying these things up your leg. Like, you think putting a wetsuit on is hard? These tech suits literally require like 15 plus minutes to get these things on. Like, when you go to a swimming, you warm up and then immediately you go to the locker room in order to get these things on. Like, there's a fair amount of people at swimmings that actually wear just like a normal swimsuit underneath the Swimskin just because it takes so dang long to put these things on. And it doesn't really do much to diminish the quality of the suit. But yeah, so the Swimskin had, you can see that there's kind of like a V pattern on the Swimskin. I loved wearing the Swimskin. Unfortunately, my university went to full-blown Nike my senior year. So I went to Brigham Young University, and the university had contracts with Nike for most of their sports, except swimming. Swimming had a contract with Nike for active wear, like shorts, shirts, stuff like that. But then they had a contract with Speedo for warm-ups and swimsuits. Except my senior year, we had to go with Nike. And some of you may be thinking, wait a minute, I've never really seen Nike I didn't see Nike in the Olympics. Right. You wouldn't see Nike swimwear in the Olympics because after the last Olympics, they realized, oh my gosh, our suits are garbage. All of our swimmers we sponsored sucked. They were terrible. But you know what? Michael Phelps was wearing Nike apparel. He was wearing Nike shoes and Nike apparel on the gold medal platform. Let's not do swimwear anymore. Yeah, no, their tech suit was garbage. It pissed. I'm not bitter. No, I'm not bitter. I had to wear that Nike garbage suit. I actually still have it. I'm not bitter. Okay. So Faskin became the de facto. So something that you're going to see is this has a zipper back, okay? This is now outlawed in swimming. You cannot wear this suit in an actual competition anymore. And why is that? Because what happened was the suit industry kind of went bonkers after the Faskin was debuted. And then so basically the Faskin was the last big technological leap that I used. So I finished swimming in 2008. Around 2010 was when a decision by FINA, which is the International Swim Governing Body for Swimming, FINA. They came out and said, okay, you guys have gone way too crazy with tech suits. Arena had a suit at that point that could float a 1 pound weight. That in the swimming world is nuts. I know we talk about, buoyancy and stuff with wetsuits. In swimming, there is no buoyancy. You are not allowed to have the suit support the swimmer. The swimsuit is allowed to provide compression, but then Arena started making buoyant swimsuits, and then FINA got a little pissed at that. So then they said, okay, that's it. We're done. I mean, and we had full body suits. We had up around the shoulders, all the way down to the ankles. My preferred one was from the waist all the way to the ankles. That's what I wore from junior year all the way until I graduated from college. Some people like the long johns. I never really saw anyone go full body. They had sleeves on these things too. I had never seen anyone go full body in person that I can remember. Most people would go up to the shoulders. My brother wore a suit all the way up to his shoulders, which is why I swear is the only reason his 200 backstroke is faster than my 200 backstroke. I swear it's the suit. I'm faster than him in the 100 back, but he beat me in the 200. So anyway, so the suits went all crazy, and around 2010, FINA said, okay, you're done. Only a jammer length for men, basically waist down to knees. And for women, you have to have open shoulders. So you'll see some suits that'll go about halfway up the back. That's called a closed back. The back shoulders have to be bare on the swimsuits. So that's where we come to today, and we have the Hydro X. Okay, so like I said, the Hydro X is the top of the line fabric for swimwear, okay? Now, something that I found very interesting is that they sell their jammers for $300. This is $345, okay? This is a steal in terms of the amount of fabric that is used, and this should be the same fabric. Now, the only thing is, this is a lower tier of construction, which is where I think the savings is found in the construction method. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, is this just a cheaper construction? This is not cheaper construction. This is not cheap construction. This is cheaper construction. The construction on this, from what I can tell, this is used on most mid-tier swim skins. Now, I could be wrong. In terms of the construction, but this is what I'm seeing. Okay. So and it has to do with the seams. Because if you look at the Hydro X, you're gonna see X Finis. So if you look, actually, no, this does look like the same. No, okay, I'm wrong. I stand corrected. This is at least that same front seam. Okay, the back seams are different. I think the back seams are different. Okay. So it's just a little bit of the construction process. But that's not going to diminish the quality of this suit. Okay. I'm just saying this is more than likely how Zoot got this thing to not cost like $700, $800. Okay. I'm just telling you, this is a way to get premium top tier fabric at a reduced cost. Okay. Be grateful for Zoot. This is a very good thing for you, okay? This is not going to diminish the quality of this suit at all. This makes it at a price point that you can actually afford, okay? If this was made, and like I said, this is just my observation. I don't know the behind the scenes on how this actually was made. Oh wait, here, let me show you what I'm seeing right here. So if you go to the front seam, this front seam right here is very similar to this seam, the seam that goes around the waist on the sides, and then the seam that goes up the sides here. I know you can't see it very well because my lighting is not that great. But this looks like the same procedure, the same construction method that's used for this seam are the majority of the seams on this product. Okay. So that's enough about the history. Let's actually talk about this product. So what is this thing? Why would you want to purchase this thing? Here, let's actually get the logo there. Why would you want to purchase this thing? Okay. You would purchase a Swimskin if you swim in warm temperatures. So USA Triathlon and Ironman, they have a specific rule set for water temperatures with regards to wetsuits. Okay, if you looked at Kona, nobody wore a wetsuit. The water's too warm. Okay, number one, it's a safety issue. If you wear a wetsuit in warm waters, you can very easily overheat, especially when you're like the athletes. It is very, very, very uncomfortable and could be dangerous to swim with a wetsuit in warm water. So cutoff is, I think it's like 77 for I think Ironman is 77, USA Triathlon is 78. And I mean, it can be, I could have them flop, but that's basically the temperature range between 77 and 78. Most swims that I do in the ocean are about 66, 65. If you compete in Southern California, Ironman Oceanside, your average temp is going to be about 64 to 66 degrees, somewhere in that range. Unless you get a really weird onshore flow, you can go a little bit higher, but on average you're going to be about in the mid 60s. So what you would do with this is you're going to wear your racing suit, and then you're going to put this over your suit. Now, like I said, the first thing that you're going to realize is this does not float you. Okay, this will not float you at all. Okay, this is a very, very thin fabric, and it's kind of crazy. It's actually almost feels like a paper. This doesn't feel like your standard Lycra swimsuit. So this is designed to kind of mold more to your body. And it's going to have a little bit of stretch and a little bit of give. But the big thing is this is dubbed a smart fabric, so it'll stretch right back when stressed. It's going to stretch a lot easier. And it'll retain its shape much longer than like a standard lycra, than your standard your standard Zoot swimsuit. Okay, so however, 100%. Do not wear this as your training swimsuit. Do not. This is a racing suit. This is racing only, okay? Maybe wear this like once just to kind of get the feel for it, which I honestly don't recommend. I wore this myself. I wear a large racing suit, and I ordered a large Hydro X, and I had no issues getting into this thing. I'm going to show a... I'm going to show me putting this thing on real quick. This is for my my official review video, which I'll do. So just wearing racing suit, and then you're just going to pop this little puppy on. So basically, it's kind of like putting on a wetsuit. It's actually a little bit easier than putting on a wetsuit. Like I said before, if you're actually buying a legit tech suit, you're going to want to legitimately buy like 2 sizes smaller. Let me get a non-creepy face on myself. Okay, so basically the Swimskin is going to come up, standard racing suit. You're going to see the shoulders and stuff like that. So I mean, when I swim with it, and I have some footage of me. I'm sorry, hold on one second. So swimming with this thing on felt fantastic. I legitimately felt like I was back wearing my racing suits back in college. I could feel the difference between the drag of just swimming normal and swimming with this thing on. So why are these things such a big deal? Why would you want to wear this? Because this is hydrophobic material. Well, if you hop in, you're going to see a whole sheet of bubbles all over this thing. Unlike the wetsuit, where it just kind of looks normal underneath the water, you're actually going to see a layer of air on this thing, and you're going to see a bunch of bubbles. It's going to look pretty cool. That was one of the cool things with the fast skin. There's nothing like diving in with a brand new fast skin and your legs are just covered with air. It just looks totally cool. So now some of you may be thinking, why would you want your legs covered in air? Basically, this is the hydrophobic fabric working. It's not going to absorb a lot of water. It's going to sheet the water off super duper duper fast. So this reduces the overall drag on your body caused by your swimsuit material. Okay, that's the name of the game with this thing. You are covering most of your racing suit with a hydrophobic coating. Okay, so this is keeping that water. This is keeping the drag forces from holding you back. Okay, because you remember from our conversations, we have driving forces and we have resisting forces, okay? One of the items of resisting force is the drag of your suit on the water. So when you're wearing just your normal racing suit as opposed to wearing a racing suit with the Hydro X fast swimskin on it, what you're doing is you're taking a significant portion and reducing the amount of drag that is being caused on the water, okay? That's the nature of the Swimskin. Okay, so a couple other nice things is, so this is a zipper back. 100%, you are going to need someone to help you put this thing on. You cannot just grab the zipper and pull it up. Something that I did when I tried this on first was I got a heavy-duty key lanyard, like a long key lanyard, and I actually hooked it into the zipper, and I would kind of hold it together and then just kind of, just kind of like you would with a wetsuit. You need to get a heavy duty key lanyard in order to do this. You're not going to do this with like a lightweight one. You will just rip that thing and you won't be able to do it because you need to pull with a decent amount of force. Getting this thing off is actually pretty easy. All you have to do is, all you got to do is just kind of reach down and get it started about a couple inches, and then you'll be able to just kind of pull, easily pull it apart, and then it'll zip all the way down. It'll kind of zip on its own if you just kind of, open it up and then just kind of, push it outward. It'll zip down pretty quickly. So getting it off is easy. Getting it on is and I had my coach help me put it on, and she's like, "All right, suck it in, fatty." I'm like, "Oh, come on, coach." It's like, "Get that dad bod in this thing." My coach is the same coach I had back in high school. We're super, super good friends. So yeah, so she could totally rib me for having a little bit of a dad bod. So yeah. So swimming in it. What does it feel like swimming in it? Let's see here. There you go. So this is me swimming a 25 in it. So you can see the shimmer. You can see the shimmer. Hold up. Let me. Right there. You can see the shimmer underneath the water. So that's the hydrophobic coating doing its thing. Okay? This is how you know you got a really good swimsuit, is when you see this bubble shimmer on the overall of the suit. So that's the kind of the bubble layer of the hydrophobic. Sometimes I screw up. I say hydrophilic. I'm like, no, it's not hydrophilic. It doesn't suck in water. Got to get my terms right. So yeah, so this is me swimming. I can my form kind of sucks right now. I'll admit. My coach didn't realize that I was doing a full 50. Here's me swimming a little bit. Oh, that's the back half. So this is me swimming about 80-90%. This is me just casually swimming. So yeah, so let's see here. There's another one that I did. Yeah, here we go. So I decided to swim a little bit of backstroke and butterfly on this one. So I feel just fine swimming in this Swimskin. I do not feel any restrictions with this suit on. What I feel like, though, is I can definitely feel the reduction in the drag forces. The reduction in the drag forces is kind of a big deal for those that swim faster. You'll definitely tell. All ability levels, though, will feel a significant difference with this suit This isn't okay. So overall, swimming with it felt fantastic. I have no negative points about this. The only thing that I would worry about a little bit is just this upper thing with the zipper. I tend to kind of get rashes no matter how much crap I put on my neck. Anti-chafe, no matter how much I put on my neck. I seem to get issues with the zipper. This is good. I'd like this to come out just a little bit more, like probably about 2 millimeters more, just to give us a little more insurance. That is a total nitpick, okay? That is a total nitpick. But the back zipper guard is actually really, really comfy. The fabric that they used for that is super comfortable on the inside, so it doesn't rub against your spine at all. So the interior of the suit, I mean, it was fully covered by my racing suit, so I couldn't really feel the insides of the suit, which for most of you, that are going to be using this, you'll just wear this with that. I mean, I would recommend at least wearing a tri-bottom. For maybe the females, if you wear a two-piece, or if any males that wear two pieces, at least wear the tri-bottom and then wear this. I don't recommend going fully in the nude in this one. Not anything in particular. I'm just feeling all the seams inside. I mean, it's just, you got to take this off and transition. So you're not gonna wear this thing on the bike. So you know that going in. So adjust your attire accordingly. So yeah, you're gonna be wearing your one piece or your two piece under this. If you don't want to wear your top, and if you're wearing a two piece, I mean, you could just wear your normal top. Or, you know, for ladies, if you're wearing like a swimsuit top or a tri bra, I don't know, I'm a dude, okay? Give me a break. So, but for dudes, if you just go on the top with this, you'll be fine. Take it off in transition, throw your tri top on, head on out. So yeah. I mean, overall, this is a good product. I like it. I can recommend this. Now, the final part of today's broadcast is going to be geared around who should buy this, okay? Because there's a lot of tech out there. You go, ooh, wow, that's shiny. Yeah, I want it. Okay, this is my recommendation on who should really consider buying this. Number one, if you swim in warm waters. If you swim in warm waters and you regularly do triathlons that are not wetsuit legal, where this is going to be a good investment. If you're not going to buy a wetsuit, buy this. This is good, okay? And like I said, at $350 for the amount of fabric that you're getting, this is a really, really, really good deal. Now, who else should get this? Okay, so category number one, if you primarily compete in warm water triathlons, 100% this is worth your investment. If you have one or two warm water triathlons and you're in the upper echelon, okay? Like, in other words, you are gunning for the top of your age group podium. You are fully invested in triathlon. You got two plus big races a year, and you're swimming like a half Ironman or a full Ironman distance, and you're in a wetsuit prohibited race. This is worth the investment. This will save you a fair amount of energy over the course of a half Ironman to full Ironman swim. Now, Olympic and sprint distance. I can't recommend this. The swim is too short in terms of distance, especially for sprints. Unless you're doing like high tier competition in wetsuit prohibited waters, I don't recommend this for the sprints and the Olympic distances. A mile in this, a mile is pushing it. A mile's pushing it in terms of like, are you going to get that much benefit for the amount of money that you're investing? Okay, because I understand money's tight. We drop a lot of money on our bikes. How much money should we drop on swimming? Now, this is the same thing I talked about with the WikiWiki 3.0. Yes, 2.0? 3.0. WikiWiki 3.0. The top tier swim gear really benefits those that have much better swim technique. Like I talked about with the wetsuits, the lower tier actually benefits the slower swimmer because the panels are adjusted and moved around. So it benefits those that have poor technique. The upper tier wetsuits are more geared towards swimmers that have good technique, like very good technique. So a low tier swimmer isn't necessarily going to get all the benefits from a top tier wetsuit. Okay. Now with the fast skin, theoretically, everyone's going to get benefit from having the hydrophobic coating over their swimsuits. That's not the question here. The question here is it worth the money investment, the $350+ investment in this thing? Okay. If you're an upper tier swimmer and you swim at least 1 to 2 Yes. Upper tier, I would say sub 130 per 100. If you're between 130 and 140, really look at your finances to see if you really can afford this thing. If you're slower than 140, yes, you're going to get a benefit, but that $350 could be invested elsewhere and you'll get a lot faster. You'll get much more faster than just wearing this suit alone. So like I said, if you got the money, if you're a wealthy single triathlete and money is no objection, go for it. I'm not going to tell you no. However, if you're looking and you budget it out and your significant other is like, okay, you've spent a fair amount of money on this sport, you can do without this. You can put that $350 into hiring a personal coach, something like that. That will more greatly help you in the long run rather than buying a flashy suit that'll take off maybe a half a second, maybe a full second per 100, maybe. The problem is reliably testing these things in terms of like how much time it's going to save you is really, really, really hard. Okay. You'd have to set up like a strict testing regimen. There's so many variables that go into this thing. It's hard. It's hard for me to tell you wear this suit, you're going to save at least 1 to 2 seconds per 100. I can't tell you that because I don't know. You feel like $1 million. You feel great. There are significant drag reduction savings that's going to happen. How that translates into your time, I unfortunately don't know. So that's kind of who is going to be who's going to be benefiting from this. So that basically ends the review. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, there you go. Okay. So that basically ends the review. Overall, too long, tuned out, too much blah blah blah, so many words. I like the suit. I like it. For those of you that are faster swimmers, 100% worth it. You're on the pro tier, definitely elite tier, definitely age group. Figure out what your swimmability is and if you can fit it in your budget. Everyone's going to get a benefit from this thing. This is not like the wetsuits where certain tiers are more geared towards certain quality of swimmers. Buy your suit size, whatever racing suit you buy, get the same size for this. It's going to be a little tight to get on, but once you get it on, it's actually really mobile. So it's surprisingly mobile. So it's not going to restrict. It's not going to confine you like wetsuit does. You're not going to really get that panic, that compression panic. But then again, I'm also very used to wearing this kind of a suit just from my background in swimming. So that could probably, have a piece to do with how I feel with the suit on. So that's my review for the Zoot Hydro X. Great suit. Zoot, thank you very much for sending me out one to review. And with that, we're going to go into the questions. So Frank posted, rando question for the end. What's the fastest way to improve your time for a 70.3 average swimmer with ability to swim up to full distance as far as endurance, but almost the same pace no matter the distance? Okay. So 70.3 is a 2-kilometer swim, 2,000 yards, 2,000 meters. 2,000 meters is about 100 plus yards more than it's about 100, within 100 yards of a 2,000 yard swim. Okay. Just the conversion. It's about 3 feet per 50. No, it's about 6 feet per 50 meters. The difference between 50 yards and 50 meters. So fastest way to improve your swim time is get comfortable swimming faster, okay? So if you can swim a full distance as endurance and you're not swimming the same time, you need to get experience swimming faster. So there's two ways to kind of go about this. Number one is learning how to put more pressure on your arms. I have a regimen where I talk about using builds. So what you're going to do is you're going to start a 25, build to the end of the 25. You're just going to start, every couple of strokes, start very, very comfortable, swim a couple strokes, start putting a little bit more pressure on the arms. So you're going to put a little more pressure, a couple more strokes, a little more pressure, a couple more strokes, put a little more pressure until you get to the wall, and then you're going to stop, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to rest about 5 seconds, push off again. So you start at the same intensity you finished when you hit the wall. And then you're going to build back for the 50. And so you're going to repeat the process until you feel like your arms are just, you're just thrashing your arms through the water, and you're not really doing stuff. You're not really, moving water. You're just thrashing. I call it the thrash point. So you want to hit that thrash point, and then what you want to do is after you do that, this may take 4, 5, 6 25s in order to get this done. So what you're going to do is you're going to back it off just a little bit, and then you're going to time yourself swimming 100, okay? So you're going to time yourself swimming 100. What this is going to do is this, theoretically, if I'm correct, this should give you a much faster 100 than you're used to, okay? So then what you're going to do is you're going to swim the rest of that practice. You're going to swim hundreds, the rest of that training session. You're going to swim the rest of those hundreds at that intensity, okay? So what you should do is you should have your arms pushing with more force, not speed, okay? There's a difference between force and speed, and there's a real balance between those, which is the difference between a novice swimmer and a big competitive swimmer. Okay. Okay, Jay and Brian, I see your comments. We'll get to those in a sec. So learning how to push with more force on the water is going to be your big ticket, okay? Now, the other thing that you need to do is check your swim form. You can send me an email, farrellswimtech@gmail.com. Shoot me over your footage. I can check your form and make sure that you have the capacity to push the water, okay? Lots of swimmers, they say, well, I can't push the water. Well, if they're pushing the water like this with a flat hand and dragging their elbow backwards, there's only so much force you can put on the water if you're not using the proper pulling technique. So shoot me an email, farrellswimtech@gmail.com. I can give you kind of some guidelines on how to send me video. Any video is good video, but there are good, better, best ways of taking video, and you are not required to get underwater footage. Underwater footage is fantastic. If you got a buddy that's got a GoPro, you're in Fat City. So that's the other thing. But basically, in order to improve your pace, you have to train at that better pace. One other huge item, and this is the last item for Frank's thing, is we want to move away from resting for X amount of seconds between sets. We want to actually set a time that we're making ourselves do. Okay, if you're using form goggles, you can swim and then check your time on your goggles to make sure you're good. Most competition pool for practices will have a pace clock, okay? Set yourselves hundreds on the 130, 140, 150, 2 minutes, and then hold yourself to a certain time. So if you're swimming on the 130 and you come back on the 15, you swam a 115 if you left on the top. Next, you're going to leave on the bottom, okay? Then you're going to leave on the bottom on the 30, and then if you come back on the 45, you swam another 115, okay? This is just simplified math. So make sure you hold yourself accountable during your practices. Don't just, I touch the wall whenever I want, I rest 10 seconds, and then I go. No. That's not going to get you faster because you're not holding yourself accountable to a certain time per 100, time per 50, time per 25, okay? So hold yourself accountable, check your form, and just work on pushing the water better. Okay, so Brian says in the pool average per 100 is 122. Hydro X average 118, 119, so it's a noticeable difference. Okay, just so I'm Kona in 103 wearing it. Okay, very nice. That's really, really good to hear. So like I said, I just don't have a lot of empirical evidence wearing Hydro, and that's actually really good evidence, Brian. Thank you very much for posting that. Okay, so Jay, doing sprints recently, doing sprint distances currently, try schedule for middle of April in Tennessee. Water will be wetsuit legal, but just barely. Would this be a better solution to a wetsuit? Thanks. Okay. So, Jay, here's the question. The question is, number one, have you already purchased a wetsuit? And number two, how is your swim form? Because there is a good argument to be made that buying a sleeveless wetsuit might be a better option than the Swimskin. Let's just see here. Zoot Sports. Because I wanna look at this real quick. I wanted to check and see what the price difference is between the sleeveless Kona and the so the Swimskin is about $375. Sleeveless Kona is only $275. Okay, so there's a good argument to be made where you might be better off buying the sleeveless Kona. And the reason why is because you're going to get the buoyancy of the Kona. Now, and you're also going to save about $100. So the difference between the Swimskin and the sleeveless wetsuit is legitimately going to be buoyancy. But the other thing too is that you kind of run the risk of it not being wetsuit legal. So I don't know. So what I would do is, number one, I would check the water temp history. You can go and do some research and you can find out kind of what the average water temp is of that area. So if you haven't purchased a wetsuit yet, and what you want to do is, save $100, the Kona, or whatever the team discount winds up being, the Kona sleeveless is not a bad option. I've raced a couple wetsuits in a sleeveless, and the amount of heat that leaves your arms. I mean, there's some places that I've seen that basically the arms negate the majority of the heat, the heat retention that you get from the wetsuit. I've swam with a sleeveless Xterra at Lake Powell. My first year wearing doing triathlon, I wore a sleeveless wetsuit at Powell, and I was swimming in the morning, so it wasn't like the middle of the day, and it was actually really comfortable swimming with the arms open and the suit on me. Yeah, I got a little warm by the end of it, and I don't know what the temperature of the water was back then, but it was warm. It was warm water. So there might be I would say the biggest factor would be, do you need the buoyancy of the wetsuit? If you need the buoyancy and that really, really helps you out, then the Kona would actually be a better choice. If you're super worried about overheating, then the Hydro X Swimskin would not be a bad option. However, you're not getting any buoyancy out of this thing at all. So it kind of, like I said, that's one big factor that you're going to want to look into. And the other thing too, just kind of an overall caution with the Hydro X. We kind of had a rule of thumb with the Fastskins back when I swam. The Fastskins are only good for about 3 to 4 competitions at peak efficiency. So just understand that a wetsuit can last you if you kind of take care of it in between races. A wetsuit can last you years, and it's going to last pretty well in terms of the not absorbing a buttload of water just because of the nature of the fabric. The Ultra Hydro X, the hydrophilic coating on the material will wear off after a certain number of swims, and I don't know what that number is. And full disclosure, I don't know how much better the suits have gotten over the years. I'm just saying this is the rule of thumb we had back in the mid 2000s with these suits. They were at peak efficiency for about 3 to 4 competitions, and then you're getting an elevated swimsuit, but it's not near as good as a brand spanking new swimsuit. So we basically would get a brand new Fastskin every year, and we would wear it for like our major competitions. So we'd wear it for like one major invitational, and we would wear it for our conference championships. So that would be basically the life of your Fastskin. Now, is it still a very good suit? Yes. Is it much better than a standard training Lycra suit? Yes. But that's just something to understand. And yeah, I guess this is kind of more of a nitpick, in terms of being a classically trained swimmer. But it's something to take into consideration as well. So to kind of give you my final answer, Jay, so I mean, another option might be the buoyancy shorts, the floaty pants. Floaty pants are always an option too. So if you just want just a little bit of buoyancy, and you're a little worried about the temperature being too much, and honestly, I don't know the rules around floaty pants in competitions. So definitely, if you're thinking about going that route, double check if those are legal to wear at those competitions. I've seen I saw guys wearing the lava pants from Xterra at the race I just did over in Palm Springs. But once again, that's not like USAT, or actually no, it was a USAT championships for first responders and military. So, but those guys in that category, they were all wearing wetsuits. So I don't really know about that. I'm just saying that might be another option to look into, but I would definitely talk to people before you consider that option. So the Swimskin or the sleeveless are definitely going to be your two major options. I would, if you want buoyancy, lean towards the Kona. If buoyancy isn't that big of a deal to you, then the Hydro X would probably overall be better, just because of not worrying about the temperature too much. So it looks like we've gone through the questions that have submitted. So we're gonna wrap things up here. So thank you all so much for tuning in to this one. I know I kind of nerded out a little bit earlier in the broadcast about the history of swimsuits, but I think it was a nice educational experience for for some of you, if you're a hardcore swimmer, this is a trip down memory lane. So okay. So I just posted my link tree in the comments if you want to learn more about me, about all the other stuff that I do. I do gaming live streams at night just for kicks and giggles. Next week, I'm going to start back my training live streams. So I'm going to lift weights Mondays and Fridays. I'm going to be on the bike Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then Wednesday mornings, we're going to be back at our regular time. I had a huge work trip on Tuesday, and I wasn't able to post it. I wasn't able to get my thoughts together. So that's why I wound up pushing it to Thursday this week. But we'll be back on our normal morning Wednesdays. It was pretty funny. It's always fun for me to go to events now, and I get Team Zoot guys coming up. Hey, you're the guy on Fridays. No, that's Mark. Mark's way cooler than me. I'm the guy on Wednesday mornings. And then the gentleman that I was talking to, he said, man, you got to lobby Zoot to give you a better time slot, man. 5:15 in the morning. That sucks. I'm like, that's the time I gave myself because this is the only time I can do it. So, so full disclosure, Zoot did not demand. I'm at 5:15 in the morning. This is the only time I can do it. So it's either 5:15 in the morning or like 9:30 at night. Take your pick. I'd rather do it in the morning so we at least possibly get some people on the East Coast that can watch this thing live. Or if there's other early morning trainers like I do, you could be on your trainer and watching me yammer about swimming. So anyway, if you like what you see here, come check out the link tree. I have my Amazon store. So I have so you can see I have so these are all my streams. So here's all my stuff for Feral Swim Tech. So if you live in the Southern California area, and this is mostly LA County, Northern OC, Western San Bernardino County. If you live within an hour of the junction of the 210 and the 57, those of you that live here, you know that area. You can come up to my hometown and do a swim lesson with me. So book your swim lesson there. Make sure you check the triathlete lesson. Check the triathlete lesson so I know that I'm working with a triathlete. And then, so I also have a swim gear recommendations as my Amazon list. So I got a bunch of good stuff on there. And then here's all of my affiliates. Shout out to Dynamic Triathlete. Dynamic Triathlete is a great app, that gives you daily stretching routines. They're about 15-20 minutes long. And they also have specific area stretching regimens, for like a week-long stretching program. Hips, ankles, upper body, really good stuff. They now have training plans for sprints and Olympics and halves and fulls. So if you want a basic training plan, that comes with your subscription. So your subscription, I always plug this thing because I'm an affiliate with them. So when you click it, there's a lot of blah, blah, blah. Why stretching is good for you, blah, blah, blah. Stretching is good for you. And then all the way down here is the memberships. So $85 a year, $10 a month. If you offer code SWIM, SWIM, you get 10% off. So that's roughly less than $80 a year and less like $8 a month. Very much so worth it. I did a stretching regimen. I did a stretching routine yesterday for hamstrings and calves after a 5K run. Felt really, really good after it. So 100%, I recommend this. Flexibility is one of the easiest ways to increase your range of motion, help with your body profile, help with your leg kicking ability. So definitely, this is worth your time. So we're gonna pop that in the comments here. Yep. So there's so that's for Dynamic Triathlete. So let's see here. Thanks for doing these every week, and go ahead and blame Mark for giving you a crappy time slot. I can't blame Mark. Mark's my home slice, okay? Mark's my homie. He's cool. That is pretty funny. Blame Mark for the crappy time slots. Oh boy. So that's going to be it for today's episode of Feral Swim Tech. Thank you all so much for tuning in. So kind of giving you let me just do a quick roadmap. So with the brand new team having been selected and emails gone out, make sure if you are in your individual Facebook groups, please plug the stream. Would greatly appreciate it, especially for new members. And if you go out on group rides, do the good work. Make sure to tell people about this live stream, because next week we're going to restart our stroke technique series, where we're going to really dive back into freestyle. Next week is going to be the intro episode, where I give a lot of kind of the overarching ideas of swimming, my methodology, how to really, kind of tackle swimming from a more of a scientific physics perspective, making sure that you're in the right mindset in terms of what's up, what's down, what's forwards, what's backwards, and defining a lot of these terms that we use with swim training. So make sure that you're here for that. And then we're going to dive back in. We're not going to do, like at the beginning of this year, we did a bunch of drills. We did like literally 3 months of swimming drills. So we're not going to do that this year. We're not going to do that for this round. We're going to get like right into the swim stuff. I will mention the drills during the episodes, but that'll be like, hey, check out this drill and check out that drill video. And I'll have those links ready and I'll post them in the comments so you can quickly get access to them. So that'll probably take us through to the end of the year. And then probably at the end of the year, I'll start making posts of like, what are episodes that you want me to do? Like, what are things that you specifically want me to discuss on stream? I've had some pretty good success with those. So make sure if you have any topics that you want, feralswimtech@gmail.com, direct message me on Facebook, or direct message me on Instagram @feralswimtech. So if you have topics that you want on these videos, shoot me an email. Just say, hey, look, love the stream. I would like you to discuss this topic on stream. And then I'll get a good bank of them. So then that'll give me some good fodder for some episodes. So I'm not just talking specifically about freestyle technique all the time. That's it. That's all I got. We're good. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with the intro into swimming. Hit the like button, hit all the buttons, and make sure you tell your friends about this stream. Stream live on Facebook at 5:15 in the morning, which is my own time slot. Mark didn't give me this time slot. And so that's going to be it. Until later, my friends. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Keep training. Good night, Isaiah Norris. Wherever you are, I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.